Hello everyone, my name is Jenny and I'm an astrologer. I also channel the energy of Archangel Metatron. And first I want to say welcome to all of my new subscribers and welcome back to everyone else. This video is going to be about the astrology of the United States and what's coming in these next days. Today I will, or the not so distant future, today I'm going to be channeling the Council of the Elders of the Galactic Federation of Light. They came to me on my patio during the full moon, about 90 minutes before the full moon. And that was right on my Chiron. And said that they were ready for me to channel them. I should have noticed that they didn't say you're ready, because I had to do a lot of work pushing past fear in order to do this video, which is why I knew in January that I would do it, and it's being done now. Hey, it's not October yet. So, I mean, everything's always right on time, right? But there's a lot of things going on in the United States and the astrology of the United States. And I think that everybody, every kingdom, every great kingdom comes to an end, falls, or has at least a radical enough shakeup that they lose their standing as a superpower. Okay, we saw that play out in other countries in these past few decades. So anyway, we're going to just get to it, and I'm going to be bringing forward words from, so the woman who on the council, the female energy on the council, who started speaking to me on my patio Tuesday evening, I said, "What is your name?" And she said, "Tina." And I said, "Your name is not Tina." And she said, "You said you wanted to keep it real casual." So that's one thing that Metatron said months ago when I started doing this. He told me that he chose me for this because I'm straightforward, I'm honest, I have integrity, and people can tell that I'm telling them the truth, and that I just say it plainly. I will tell you that before I do any work on anyone, when I wake up in the morning and before I do videos, I surrender lower ego to the light of creation or to the energy of unconditional love. And I make the statement that I am a vessel and a conduit of unconditional love and highest truth. I ask the Holy Spirit to speak through me, Archangel Metatron. And I would just recommend that even if you're just going for a reading, I don't care what kind of reading it is, if you ask the practitioner that is, witnessing the creator do the healing, always say, would you mind, surrendering anything that might obstruct highest truth from coming forward, just, and then that'll let you know where you stand. I will tell you that the energies of unconditional love and highest truth do not use the terms Cabal or Illuminati, not in their vocabulary. I won't ever make a video for the sake of having more views or, being sensationalized so that I get a big following. Those tend to come from fear, and I come through the energy of unconditional love. I had to deal with a lot of my own fear before I made this video. But, if you're spending hours listening to people who are telling you that they're repeating something that they're getting from an energy of unconditional love and highest truth, and that message has to do with specifically naming people and gossiping about them, that is not from an energy of unconditional love and highest truth, okay? They don't gossip. They don't say like, oh, this person is a liar and this person is telling the truth. They ask you to use discernment and discretion and to look at it the way that it is, actually, and not to color it with someone else's views. I will not be putting Donald Trump's name on the title of the video, because I know it would get a lot more views if I did that, but I don't care. I don't need the, riffraff. And I don't talk about things that, comments that I get on videos. I just block the person, and that's that. I don't care. It just doesn't faze me. So anyway, so the United States, and I'm going to go through the chart like I do with clients, okay? So right now we're having what's called our Orcus return, when a planet returns to the place it was, in this case, the 4th of July, 1776 in Philadelphia at 5:10 p.m. That's the chart that I'm using. Orcus is a body that has the exact same energy as Pluto. It's a little bit more sinister than Pluto, and Orcus is at where it was in the sky when the United States came to be, okay? And we're having our Orcus return. So in other words, the sinister, underhanded, dirty money, stealing the resources of the earth acts, if there have been any, there'll be a reckoning, okay? Is what she's saying. Nessus is an asteroid that is about abuse. Some astrologers say it's about sexual abuse. I find that it's just abuse in general. And it's also can be like what comes back to bite us in the ass kind of energy. We're also having that return. So we have that going on now, okay? And it's almost, she's saying the energy is almost like a civil war that we're having, okay? Maybe we don't have weapons. Well, most of us don't have weapons, but that's the energy that we're contending with right now in this country. So in the chart of the United States, if you do readings with me, you know about interceptions, not that uncommon. But for the United States, we have Virgo and Pisces intercepted, and the 4th and the 10th house intercepted. So what that tells me, look, if I'm looking at a chart, when Virgo is intercepted, there's an energy of like not wanting to put forth the effort and working hard. Okay, this is as a country. This isn't like all the people in the country or anything like that. But we're talking about when we were born, okay, the energy of the country, July 4th, 1776, okay? It's like there isn't that, taking practical measures and steps and earning, okay? Our Pluto in the second house is where you can see where we got, like where we are today, really, because it's the foundation, the chart, okay? Pluto was retrograde in the second house in Capricorn. So what that tells me is that we steal the wealth of other people's. Maybe we say killed a race of people in order to take what was valuable for ourselves. We used, the energy of death and destruction to gain our riches. We steal like from the bounty of the earth, okay? And that relates also to agriculture. And that is opposing the part of fortune and Mercury and the vertex. And Mercury is retrograde, reflecting again that Virgo interception, okay? Because when Virgo is intercepted, you look to Mercury. So I know that I'm speaking a different language for a lot of you. I'm trying to, speak to the people that understand astrology and then the people that are brand new to astrology. So I'm just going to tell you that what that means is that we made our money on the backs of others. We did not earn this land. We did not come and work the land and live in peace with the indigenous peoples who were already here working the land. We used secret methods. I believe we gave them smallpox. I know we gave them smallpox. We stole their land. We drove them off the land. We literally, our capital, it was built by slaves. All of the big buildings that you see in Washington, D.C., those were built by slaves. People got like a half of a fish and some bread every day while they built our capital. And so now Pluto in the sky, along with Nessus and Orcus, those returns, and what's starting now or has already started, Pluto is coming back to meet up with the Pluto of the United States, okay? So what that means is that there's going to be a reckoning for what we've done in secret, for the wealth that we've taken, for the lives that we've taken, for displacing a race of people, erasing, in a lot of cases, tribes that just didn't survive. There are people in the United States in pockets all over the country who live without running water, without electricity, and they've been doing it for over 200 years. And all they did was live here, and we wanted what they had. And at some point, there has to be an answering for that. There has to be a balance of karma. Okay? It's never that we're serving karmic sentences or a lot of that stuff that I do healings for with people, which I had myself. It's that the karma needs to be balanced. Okay? Our 10th house being intercepted means that we really don't have the authority. It's all just sort of a game. It's sort of like our Neptune being in Virgo intercepted. It's a lot of just deceit and where it's an illusion of supremacy is what she's saying. Like, we're the greatest country there's ever been. And when I found out that I was leaving the United States, which was one of the plans a couple of years ago that ended up changing, but I was really upset. I love this country. The first lifetime that I went into, I was a Native American. It was around 1100. I mean, I've been coming here for a long time. I don't have anything against the country. I'm just telling you that this is what's going to happen. And we're warming up. Pluto is a tiny guy with a lot of power. He packs a punch. And so as he's moving closer and closer, and that return will, the Pluto, when Pluto and Saturn and pretty much Jupiter, but the Sun, they're all going to meet up there on January 20th, 2020. If you can see down there, you'll see Pluto. They're all kind of stacked up, so you can't really tell. And then you've got the South Node also in Capricorn, which is falling almost on our Eris, which is the aspect of the feminine that's fights for equality, fights, like angry fights, but also, righteous anger as well. So, you see that you've got the Pholus, which is another kind of like what comes back to bite you, retrograde with our South Node, and that whole pileup that's coming in 2020 when the reckoning, I think, has started already. When I did the chart for the solar return of the United States, let me find that one. I could do this without being on camera, but then I got to keep switching. I don't want to do that. So if you look at the solar return, if you look at our 7th house, that's our house of partnership or the other, you see how Pluto is there retrograde and Saturn is there retrograde. That's what's starting with this trade war. We've got the South Node and Mars retrograde in our 8th house of other people's money. And it's just, it's already started. Like we already had to bail out the farmers, which the farmers are saying that that's not going to be enough because of these tariffs. Here's the thing. When you elect someone who makes no bones about wanting to make a lot of profit, he's probably going to be worried about who's making the profit. Okay? That's his objective, and he never said it was any different. And if you're talking about the draining of the swamp's going to be drained. It's just not in the way probably most of his supporters imagined that it's going to be drained. But here's the thing about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is doing his job. Okay? Donald Trump. Okay, so Donald is here. His North Node is to be like, that wrecking ball of Uranus that comes in. It's, causing all kinds of fights with everybody here, making the anger rise up. Okay, this is a brutal kind of energy. Okay, this is not peaceful. This is Mars, the United States, Mars, and Uranus. Okay, and that's his job. His North Node Uranus Sun is on the Mars of the United States. Okay, I've been an idiot leader. I've been that person. And that's his role. That's just his role. That's not even, this is all just pretend. Remember, we're all just acting out different roles. So you see, the Saturn of the United States, who is the authority and the leader, is exactly with his Juno, which is the partner in this lifetime, like on top of it. The part of fortune, his part of fortune is on the moon and the Pallas Athena of the United States. That's another leadership. You know, it talks about female leadership. What is he doing for the females? He's empowering us because he's making the females band together to do something about it. He's doing his job. That's what he was told. That's what he came here to do. It's his North Node. Okay, that's the destiny of the soul in this lifetime. He's got the North Node of the United States is pretty basically on his Pluto, but interesting, very interesting. The Heimdall asteroid, which Heimdall means the guard of the bridge between heaven and earth, and it's the asteroid that represents the energy of Metatron, that is on his Pluto. So that's pretty cool. I mean, not, you know, like, I'm not like rah rah. I've had a long time to know this, and you know, it's just, I just haven't shared it. But also part of my thing was like, can people hear this? Is it okay for people to hear this? So his South Node, which is conjunct his moon in his 4th house, meaning his mother hated him, or at least he perceived that his mother did not like him. She didn't most likely really even want him. And so he took all of that in. I mean, I feel sorry for him when I look at his natal chart. You know, I didn't vote for him. But I think that I know that the reason that he's in office is to kind of bring, it's like not covered up anymore. It's not a secret. I think if the other person would have won, it would have just, the corruption would have just been kept undercover. And at some point it all comes out. But anyway, his South Node and moon, which relates to the home, falls into the 1st house of the United States. That the South Node is like a negative, has, you know, like not a happy connotation. So it's like the self. He's like showing us the lower stuff. It also is, you know, speaks to his disrespect of women, but that's all the mother stuff that he has, which is sad. Like I said, I do think that it's sad. You know, I get that the guy is doing what he's supposed to do. And, you know, that's balancing the karma. You know, we voted for someone, or I'm sorry, the Electoral College, which was put in place because of slavery, what allowed him to get into office. Like, there's no coincidences. Of course it was going to happen like that. And right now, in this year, okay, the solar return of the United States, it speaks to sinister stuff going on behind the scenes in relation to our partners. Maybe a secret partner. Maybe, you know, there's somebody out there who is making partnerships and doing things in secret that it shouldn't be trusted, but they've been given trust for whatever reason. We don't really know how exactly that's going to play out. But that Saturn retrograde in the 7th house, it speaks to like a lot of financial hurt coming to us. And, you know, right now Pluto is in the sign of banking. It's in the sign of government. And it's going to make some changes. When Metatron said before I started the year, and I looked at 2018, and, you know, he said, this is the energy that brings down kingdoms. And he meant physical kingdoms and then geopolitically, you know, as well. That this is the year that things begin to be rectified. You know, it's a year of judgment. And we're here because we chose to be here, because we wanted to see the corruption come to an end. You know, we are the biggest perpetrators of it. We are. And we elected somebody who makes no bones about everything being about, the profits and what shareholders get and, the bottom line. And the bottom line for him is money. And so I don't think that it's, we're looking at like what money the United States is going to make, because when you look at our country almost, I forget the percentage. When I used to be really into politics years ago, I knew all of this stuff off the top of my head. My son could tell you very easily what percentage of our tax money goes to the military. That doesn't mean that it goes to the soldiers. That goes to the multinational companies who build weapons. It's what the Republican President Eisenhower talked about. We're feeding the military industrial complex, and we are the little guys, because the other guys don't even pay taxes. All of our money, it's like blood money is what he's saying. Blood money. And I don't know what's going to happen with this Space Force. But I can tell you that I know of another one that's not going to let us pollute our nuclear stuff or anything else in outer space. That's just not going to happen. But I do think that we're probably going to get tricked into putting a lot of money into it, because we don't even need those weapons. We need the money to make them, because the weapons manufacturers want our money. That's it. Like, that's where all our money goes. Where's that chart? That's where all our money goes. All of our money goes to death and destruction and abuse of power. Oh, shoot, I got so many charts here, you guys, I can't find it. But the Pluto retrograde, okay? Pluto retrograde, right over there. Pluto retrograde, death and destruction in relation to money. That's where all our money goes, okay? And then that Neptune in intercepted in Virgo. It's like, that's in our 9th house too, by the way. So it was like an illusion that, like, oh yes, come here. Everything is, the promised land. Yeah. And then you get here and you're a hardworking, let's just say Mexican immigrant, because I've worked with plenty of hardworking Mexican immigrants. In fact, the man that I just paid to mow my lawn is a hardworking Mexican immigrant. He's a good family man. He loves his children. Sometimes he brings them with and they play in my next door neighbor's backyard on the trampoline. They're a sweet family. They go to church all the time. They're good people. They're honorable people. Okay? Their life, just because the employers are paying them less to do a job than they would pay you, it's not their fault. Why isn't anybody mad at the employers? Ronald Reagan, the Republican, passed a law in the 1980s saying that for each illegal undocumented, sorry, I almost fell into that. For each undocumented worker, the employers will be fined $50,000 per worker. Why don't we enforce that law? You know why? Because we're all about profits. We're all about the bottom line. They don't really care that there's undocumented people making more money than American workers. They just want to save money. People that voted for him, it was because they were all like, for years, the propaganda has been like, it's the poor people's fault. It's like that made up story about a black woman who just wants to live on welfare. Can't wait to live on welfare. Come on. What about all the money? What about all the taxes going to the weapons manufacturers? We're safe. We don't need to be, there isn't going to be a country that's going to like declare war on us and we're not going to have anything to fight back with. Like, how many more weapons do we need? It's time to put down the sword, lay down the sword. This is the time that's going to happen. And whatever's in the way of that happening is just going to be taken out of the way. I don't think that this is all going to I think it's going to get darker before it gets better. I don't think it's going to get, bright and sunny with the next election. In fact, I looked at the January, I don't remember the year, but I looked up the next inauguration, and it doesn't look like, it looks like whoever is elected, there's a lot of unrest, is what she's saying. A lot of unrest and upheaval. And, I'm going to vote, and I'm not discouraging anyone from voting. Okay. I think it's very important to vote because most of the people who, aren't filled with hate and don't blame all their problems on the poor people, they don't vote either. Unfortunately, in this country, we take it so for granted, the privilege of voting. I think that we lost that privilege of our vote counting. I think that's already gone. And I don't even think it started in the last election, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm going to vote, and I'm telling everybody, it's a good idea to vote. Whoever you vote for, vote. But I think that our vote is going to be kept, safe, and it's really going to matter. I don't know. I don't think so. But I'm not discouraging anyone from voting, so I'm going to keep saying that, okay? I just don't, I'm kind of like looking at it like, well, it's a coin toss. But I can tell you that the next inauguration is not a happy day. Well, this guy, the astrology of it isn't so happy. Okay, let's say that. When this all goes down, when Saturn, the Lord of Karma, Pluto, death, destruction, the phoenix rising from the ashes, when they all meet up on the Pluto of the United States, okay, Mars is way out of bounds that day. Way out of bounds. So Mars, war, anger, that is in 2020. So I think the next inauguration, oh, you guys, it's so bad. I used to know all of this stuff like the back of my hand. I used to be so into politics. I'm looking for that chart. Yeah, so when they meet up there, Mars is going to be, where's Mars? Mars is going to be in our 12th house. So that could be like stuff going on in secret, but he's going to cross our ascendant and come right into our first house, like very shortly after that, like within a week of those guys lining up. And he's way out of bounds when he's doing that. And he's in the fire of Sagittarius. So I'm not saying that the United States is the only country that's ever, no, of course I don't. Like I was part of the imperialism stuff that went on too in the United Kingdom. But, and I think that that whole thing that's happening with them will probably cost them like monetarily. But, that's what, you reap what you sow, the balance of karma, all of that kind of stuff. And so, we signed up to be here for a reason. A lot of us in the United States are holding the light here. Where you live is no coincidence either. So we're going to keep talking about this. I know that I said, a long time ago that I was going to make this video. And, I think I also wanted to mention, where is it? It was something about Trump in the United States. But yeah, like, the fact that his Pluto and Archangel Michael are close together and then that's with the North Node. And the North Node of the United States, by the way, is with the asteroid Heimdall. And those are all, so everything is in divine order. I mean, it always is. It's just, I know it's not easy for people to hear these kinds of things. Oh, that's Junior. He wanted to make his debut, I guess. Junior, are you going to come out? There he is. So yeah, I know that it's not like, a happy news, but that's what's happening, and it's going to hit us first financially, I think. So, probably because we stole the land and we killed the people and we took what was theirs and made it ours. And so now there has to be an accounting for that. So anyway, guys, tomorrow's video will be happier, I'm pretty sure. So, but anyway, it was important to get it done, and I did it. And if you guys have any questions related to any more of this, Mercury is trade, and his Mercury is on our Saturn, or no, sorry, it's on his Saturn. So like we're under his authority. That's when that that Mercury retrograde, Virgo interception, comes into play. So anyway, we will see how this all plays out. But I'm just saying that for the United States, between now and 2020, okay, we're going to feel that Pluto building up and building up and building up. And we're just going to take it one day at a time and just kind of listen to people who are, coming from a place of fear if you want to listen to that, which I don't recommend, but if you want to listen to that, please ask for discernment and, ask the person, like, do you surrender ego before you do your readings, or maybe just switch off because you can tell that what they're saying is out of alignment. Again, didn't hear anything about the Cabal or the Illuminati. That's probably the last time you're going to hear me mention them, because it's just silly. I mean, I'm not saying that there isn't a group of people that that are running the show, but they're not like that's a very good point, and I forgot about that, Junior. They're the ones that run the stories that distract us, okay? That are just nonsense. They're the ones who bring up like silliness to keep us from paying attention to what's actually going on. Like the fact that all of our tax money goes to pay for weapons of war, and that if you have diabetes in this country and you're poor, you're going to die because you can't afford the insulin. I've seen 3 stories this week in my newsfeed on Facebook of people who died because they can't pay for their insulin. What? The greatest country in the world? All of our money goes to weapons and not to medicine for people? We're the only democracy on the planet that doesn't have health care for people. People literally make money off of people being sick here. I mean, that can't just keep going. Something has to shift. And I don't care what party it is. I don't care if it's the Democrats and if it's the Republicans. They're all in it on it. They're all getting paid off. The only way that they have to pay for an election is to take bribes. He just used the word bribes. Bribes. That's the only thing that pays for them to be in office. So, of course, it's corrupted. Of course it is. And it can't just keep going. The insurance, industry's got the doctors by the gonads, got us by the gonads. I mean, I have friends, and I know doctors, too, that, I'm friends with that, I hear of the stories. If they tick the wrong box on, I'm not going to name the insurance company, but if they tick the wrong box on a form, they don't get a paycheck from the insurance company. Okay, so they're under the gun with them just as much as we are. Interesting I said that. But, that's the Virgo interception. Virgo is about health. We don't provide health care for people. We just make weapons. That's our big claim to fame. And we can't say anymore like we're the shining city on a hill. We did away with that. That's all done. That's all over. If it ever was true, it's certainly not true anymore. Certainly not true anymore. I know like other spiritual teachers who have started doing classes in the United Arab Emirates because Muslim women and Muslims are afraid to come to this country. That's not what it was supposed to be about. So, anyway, everyone. I want to say something. So she's talking about that these are the days it's important to keep the energy of peace around us, okay? To help us weather the storm, is what she's saying. Because she's saying the storms are coming, there will be many, and they will be fierce. So, okay. On that note, everyone, blessings. Namaste. Take care, everybody.